Thank you for listening to this podcast, and welcome to the Campus Café. In this episode, I'll be chatting over a cup of coffee with 3 students from the communication program at Han University of Applied Sciences, and we will discuss at least the following topics: how being a talkative person can result in choosing a study program at the Han, but also enjoying communicating in an intercultural environment, and lastly, that working in different organizations is part of the communication program. A warm welcome goes to my guest, Kaloyan, Marina and Maria. Welcome, guys. A podcast is something that comes back to your studies, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I'm going to talk more about the studies in a bit. But can you tell me, Marina, where are you originally from?
Yeah, of course. I'm from Russia and from St. Petersburg, in my opinion, the best city. It's like a cultural capital. I was born there, lived my whole life there before moving here with my parents and my family, and a cultural part of Russia and experiencing art and theaters and museums was really a big part of my childhood, and it's still something that I really love.
Right. Kalo?
Well, I'm from Bulgaria. I'm from close by the second biggest city there, Plovdiv. Then I moved to the capital for 4 years. I studied dance art for high school, and then I came to Arnhem 2.5 years ago in 2021.
Nice. And Maria?
I'm from Greece. I grew up in Athens, and I was born there as well. I graduated from business college, and then I came here like 4 years ago to pursue communication.
Well, speaking of communication, that is why we're here today at the Campus Cafe. I want to know first, why did you choose this program? Let's start with you, Maria.
Well, communication, I believe it's a very big part of humanity and how people need to learn how to communicate and talk with each other. But then when I came here, I realized that communication is so much like communication studies is so much like more than that. And I just really enjoyed it. I wouldn't change it. So, yeah.
For me, I've been a very talkative person since child, and every time I hear something about me or someone referring to me, would be, "Oh yeah, the boy that talks so much." And prior to my graduation, I looked up, okay, what can I do with something that involves talking a lot, or yeah. And I looked up and I saw communication management in Bulgaria, but then I found out about the Han. And the communication science because it's more on the business side, so that like intrigued me a little bit more. But yeah, I'm a very communicative person since a very young age, and I decided to take up on my sort of natural talent.
Yeah, for me it was a bit different. To be fair, I didn't really know what I want to do, and I'm still not sure exactly. But I thought that this kind of program is something that you can do even though you're not sure what you want to do afterwards, after graduation, because the courses are so vast and there's so many things you can try like during this course and this major. So I thought that even though I might pursue something else afterwards, these skills I will still use it, and they might be really handy.
Right. Thank you very much, guys. In this run-up to the podcast, I send you an email to bring an object from home, from your home country, and to break the ice a little bit. So I was wondering, what did you bring, and what does this object mean to you?
I think I can start because I'm the only one.
Someone did their homework.
Very, very prepared. Yeah, I'm from Russia. I could have brought matryoshka as we talked before, but I thought it's very basic and everyone's seen matryoshka. But this one, it's a spoon. It's like a very traditional spoon. It's something that people used before to actually eat. But for me, it has a very cute, I would say, meaning because this is something we used in a kindergarten to play with. It also can be a musical instrument if you take 2 spoons and start to clap them together. It's like a musical instrument. And in the kindergarten, when all the babies, like, they have these different things like shakers or something, like a small object that you can make a sound with. I had these ones, and I think it's a nice reminder for me for back home. And it's also not something very typical, and it has a very unique painting. All of them are very different. Like there's not a single part, and they always try to do it differently from one to another. Yeah, and we don't actually. No one eats with them, of course, anymore. It's not like
They
Yeah.
used
that.
to eat with them.
They used
Right.
to eat, yeah, but now it's more like a.
That's a big mouth that you have to have.
Yeah. It's a
You can
spoonful.
try.
There you go. Looks
Yeah.
very nice.
So it's more like a historical part of our
Right.
culture. Yeah.
Very important. What about you, Kalo?
Okay, so firstly, I thought I didn't bring anything, but then I remembered one aspect of me, and it's I love traveling and I love buying like clothes from different places. So last time I went back to Bulgaria this last winter, I bought this scarf. It's also red, and our third color of the flag is also red. So we have white, green, and red. And then later on, I haven't been wearing it that much, I would say. But on our national day, I had the pleasure to visit the Bulgarian school for
Look at that.
children, like a Sunday school in Amsterdam, to give them a lesson about folklore. And I was wearing this. I thought it's very
Right.
like thematic. So since then, every time I wear it back, I sort of think about, oh, it's so nice. Like I still remember the day I went to the school, and I remember the moment that I bought it back in Bulgaria. And it's also red, so it reminds me of my country.
Nice.
Well, for me, I had an idea at first, but then I couldn't actually bring the item that I thought at first, and that would be olive oil. I know it's pretty basic, but olive oil for us back home, it's taking us way back to the 12 gods and everything with Athena, and it's something that I always bring from back home. Like I always have this big bottle, Coca-Cola bottles, specifically because they're the thickest ones. So my mom always packs me extra, and it's something that I use in my diet like constantly. So for me, every time I use it, it's gonna remind me of home. So yeah, I would say olive oil.
Oh, very interesting items. And this is what makes the intercultural dynamics very nice within the classroom, because there's so much stories that you bring to each other into one place. And it's fascinating to have that around. But speaking of international program, we're going back to communication. Let's get a bit deep into it. Can you tell me what's so good about the program? Let's start with you, Kalo.
I would say in my case and in many, I think, other people's cases, is that it's very broad and it includes many different parts within the communication business. To me, I would call it international communication business degree because we do communication only within the business area.
Yeah.
So it involves PR mainly, branding and marketing, and also different more specific parts like employer branding, for example, etc. But yeah, that to me is the case, that we get the knowledge, also the experience for a lot of different parts, and then later on we have the opportunity to, okay, we can choose which one do we want to explore more, for example, during our internship or our study abroad.
Yeah, again, it's very great if you're not sure what you want to do afterwards, after uni, or even before, and you're a bit confused. That's okay. Like everyone was there, and this is like, I feel like a big advantage that you can. People may say, oh, it's like a jack of all trades, and that you're not actually diving deep into it, but you actually do have an opportunity to dive deep. For example, you started taking public relations, and then you're like, oh, I think I like it, and then you can do an internship and get more deep in it during your study abroad. So
Right.
That's so true, because I also had that. And when I was looking for an internship, I knew that I wanted to do HR because I knew what things I didn't like designing. And then when I went and actually did HR, I was like, yeah, that's not for me. So moving on to my next opportunity internship to see where I'm at. So yeah, that's very true.
And we'll definitely dive deeper later on about the internship part. But I'm curious about the classroom. Can you tell me, how does the typical communication student look like? Or can you describe a typical communication student? Tell me.
Not a typical one. I
Yeah.
wouldn't say there is a typical one. That's what
There
I
isn't
feel-
a standard.
But
I
it's also
think.
like the best thing about it. It's that everyone is so different in the school. It's crazy,
That's
and
true.
it's not only about background. People from the same country, you can look at them and be like, "Oh, I would never think that they have the same, they share anything in common." That's the best thing about doing a communication degree, that everyone is so different, is then that you can learn how to communicate. And during the second year, there are these group works. and
Yeah.
that can be very exhausting because there you have to always connect with people. But it's also a good thing that they put you and you have no possibility to change anything about it, and you have to find a way to communicate with different people. So it makes sense that everyone is so different here.
To me, the most special thing about the classroom is definitely the intercultural aspect and the international aspect. And I'm thinking that I wouldn't be really able to study in any different setting. So to me, it's whether I'm gonna have that international environment again. Also at my work, I would definitely prefer that than having the same cultural background.
Right.
And it doesn't mean it's, for example, I don't want to work with someone Bulgarian or someone Dutch. I just prefer when it's all mixed up. And to me, that's the biggest benefit, to learn from each other and our different backgrounds.
Yeah, I completely agree with that because you also see what people are going to go out, what kind of professionals they're going to be. So you see what kind of character they're going to have or their work ethics when you're doing the group work. So I think it's a great opportunity to see what you're going to face in the future after your degree.
Right. And can you tell me what's the most favorite element of your study so far?
The creativity, I would say.
For me, I think the way the program is structured, like the fact that we can go 3 semesters abroad.
Yeah.
I don't know any single school that can give that kind of opportunity, and I believe that education is not only about sitting in class, and it's mostly not about sitting in class, but learning on the go, learning on the site, and traveling. And this experience is just amazing, and what the university gives you outside, even when you can, after finishing, even if you do a bare minimum here, when you're leaving university with 2 internships with exchange program, and that's this amazing international experience.
To me, I would say it's very personal to everyone, of course, but overall, the biggest learning and the thing I really like that it's given sort of from the program and from our lecturers is the ability to make us a critical thinker. Because in this world, it's, you cannot just trust information, right?
Yeah.
So you have to really learn how to filter out information, who to trust, and to be critical not only on what you see, also on yourself. And that's a big soft skill that it's involved everywhere. So I think that's something I really like about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would totally agree with them. And I would also add that I really like the fact that you can be creative,
Yeah.
even in the classes that they're not designed or something like that. So you have the option to like open up your horizons, listen to ideas, evolve your own ideas. And this gets better and better as the time passes by. So
Right. Well, very good answers, everyone. And I'm going to address the elephant in the room because there's a very random wheel there with a lot of colorful questions on it. And I want to ask Marina if you can do the honor to spin it. And there's going to be a random question there. And each of you can take a turn to answer it. Let's start with you, Marina.
Oh, girl.
Okay, you ready, guys?
How does earning study credit work?
Earning study credit. Oh.
Let's start with you, Marina.
Credits for the exams.
Yes. How do you obtain a
The
credit?
ECT, the
ECTs.
European credits.
Oh, that's
Do you know?
No, so at Han there is a 10 point system, and you obtain them for the course, and if you pass the course, then there is a different weight to each course. Some of them are 5.5, some of them 2.5. The bigger courses are 7.5, and if you pass the exam and your summation of your, for example, there are also each course there are different parts to it, portfolio, oral exam, or something like that, and then if your summation is great and you pass, then you get to obtain the credit, and each semester is 30 credits, 1 year is 60 credits.
Right. And can I ask you in public, how is it going for you?
Yeah, well, great.
Yeah?
Propodosa from the first year,
Oh,
and I
nice.
have never had a single receipt.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
And
he's going
I'm-
for the honor roll.
These are the students we want on the podcast.
Yeah, and like, to be fair, like it's not like I'm always like, "Ugh, I'm gonna lose everything, like
Right.
I'm not gonna pass. I'm the friend that everyone is like tired to hear, because I'm like, this time I'm definitely gonna lose. Like I cannot pass it. Like I'm not prepared, and then I'll pass. Yeah.
She will be cum laude maybe when she graduates.
Oh, wow.
Cum laude is like when you have a very great score overall when you
But
graduate.
like I wouldn't say that my average is that great. I just never had a single receipt.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
it.
that's,
That's nice.
Can you do the honor again to spin the wheel for Kaloyan?
Of course.
also
Everything
each
for you.
question for one person.
Yeah, a random
I
question.
mean, do you want to say about credits again?
What
The
is
most
the
cha-
most challenging aspect?
Oh.
Of the program, of course.
That's
That's
your
another
life.
challenging aspect in life.
But I mean, the program is really adjustable. So it's of course it's super personal, and I mean you can make it a challenge for yourself, but you can also make it super chill, I suppose.
Yeah.
Of course, they encourage us to take on as many challenges as we can because that's how we grow, and that's also what I did. I would say the most challenging part is moving around, and I mean not within the city, but okay, when you want to do your minor abroad, then you have to come back here for your internship if you want to do it here, or you can go to another country. So I think this kind of logistics, and it's also not, it's not really only about finding an apartment. In other countries it's not that hard. I mean, I did my minor in Paris. I would say it was relatively easy when you don't have that many standards, of course. So that's the most challenging part. It's that I love it that I want to go to different places and I adapt to these places, but that is also challenging.
Yeah.
So
But to be fair, as I see it, you get the hang of it very quickly.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
move twice,
And
and
that's-
then it's like
That's it.
every day.
yeah,
Yeah.
And also it's
visa check. Okay.
yeah, and also it just I don't know, it gives you an incredible boost like in your like confidence.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I can take care of myself. And I believe for international students who come and they're like scared for being independent and
Or
it's
alone.
normal or alone,
Yeah.
yeah. And you learn to be alone with you, and when you do it, that's just incredible. It just life just gets better.
Of course.
You learn to spend time with yourself. That's what I realized after coming here. And then you have the skill of, because it's a skill after all, of like having good time with yourself. And for instance, I can go to a restaurant alone if I cannot find somebody to go with me, or I can go for coffee, or I can go study somewhere, but alone, like it gives you the independent feelings, and you don't need anybody at the end of the day, but you want to, but you don't need to. You can do
Right.
things
You can
with
trust
yourself.
yourself.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You can have time with yourself and have fun with yourself. So I
Yeah.
think that's a great aspect.
Speaking of having fun, let's do the final question of the Wheel of Fortune for Maria.
Yay.
Ready?
Yeah.
How do you manage the workload?
That's a question for you.
Good
I
question.
think, I
That's
think
a
it's
very good
different for
question.
everybody.
Yeah, of
because,
course.
when I came here, it was the coronavirus started. So the workload was completely different because I think I took 9 exams in one exam period because they had to figure out first how they do it. And then I failed everything, of course. And then when I actually went to communication and I started, I already knew what was going on. So I take it slow. I was more organized. And I believe for me, I was never really the studying type, sit down and study. Like I would never do it. I would study one day before the exam or like the day of the deadline of the portfolio. I would just start doing it and I'll be fine. So yeah, it wasn't very hard, but then it depends if you want to work. I'm doing 2 jobs and I also work. So it depends on what everybody wants. But for me, I would say it's pretty okay. Like you can manage. I wouldn't say that, oh my God, yeah, I would drop out and I would never come back because it's so difficult. It's terrible. Nobody's helping you. That's also the good thing, that you have all these advisors and people around you that in case you're struggling, they're either going to notice or you can notice and go tell them like, you know what, I'm struggling very hard here. Like when I struggled with a course, I struggled with branding from first year. I don't know why, but I couldn't pass this class. So I went to my advisor and I told her like, I cannot pass it. And she was like, go talk with your teacher how he can help you. And he actually told me all this material that you can study and you can get the hang of it. And I also got a tutor because we have this amazing luck of being able to get tutored for free here. And I actually passed the course and I was like, finally, like I can relax now and then continue with my life and then get my P and then go on about my life. So I would say, yeah, it's pretty manageable in comparison with other people or courses.
That's
let's
very
say.
good to hear about the workload. Now, Listen, people, we live in a age where you don't trust the information that you find online, and you have to verify if things are facts or fairy tale. So I need your help today to help me, and you're just gonna tell me yes or facts or fairy tale to the next three statements regarding communication. So the number one statement is communication is easy to do. Is it fact or fairy tale?
Fairy tale.
Yeah.
Number two, communication has nothing to do with business.
Oh, fairy
Fairy
tale.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, fairy tale. And number three, you can do different types of work with communication.
Facts, yeah.
And
Many
that,
different types of work.
yeah, that's a fact that you brought early on as well with the diversity of work that you can do. And speaking of work, I usually don't answer my phone, and people leave voicemails for me. So an alumna called me and talk about her work to contribute to this podcast today, and her name is Slavina.
Hi, this is Slavena. If you're wondering who I am, I'm a 26-year-old Bulgarian who's been living in the Netherlands for the last 7 years. I came to this country back in 2017 to pursue a bachelor degree in communication at the HAN. After successfully graduating in 2021, I've worked at various places as a content and digital marketeer, and I'm currently working as a brand coordinator at Euro, where, well, you guessed it, I coordinate various brand projects that aim to inspire people to explore Europe by train. Doing all of this wouldn't have been possible without my degree, during which I acquired the right time and project management, graphic design, branding, and intercultural communication skills. I can proudly say that I'm one very happy communication alumni, and if you're creative, outspoken, extroverted, and want to do something meaningful, I would absolutely recommend you to give this degree a go. Well, okay, I gotta go now. Bye!
So what are your first thoughts on this message?
Good for her. She's
That's
doing
his
great.
right.
I'm
Yeah.
happy.
And that's his right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So true, whatever
Yeah.
she said, yeah.
She's very true. It's
Do you-
very true. I would say the part I really like is she already mentioned I worked in various organizations. So and that is because we get the opportunity to explore with different organizations through our internships here, and also the Eurorail. I think it's a super cool
Oh,
job.
yeah.
Yeah, because it's a very hot topic now in the business. Like how do we commit to more sustainability by traveling by train? And she's the brand coordinator, she
Yeah.
said. So I think that's a very fun job to do.
Yeah, sounds great.
Yeah, congrats.
And besides the internships that you do, you also have these various projects that you actually work with companies, with actual companies, and you get insights and you work with the people there. Okay, they won't answer to your email at 3 a.m., but they're going to definitely give you the information that you want for your project and to solve their problem, because they come with a real problem and you need to find a real-time solution that they're going to apply and let you know how it went. That's a great opportunity to see like the project and how you're going to react in a group chat, and how you're going to see like with an employee, because they come like managers are
Right.
coming. So yeah.
Yes.
Yes?
Just a great point for her is that I think it's really nice, and it also shows how committed she was to the degree itself, because it's been 3 years after she graduated,
Yeah.
and she's happy to take the time to contribute to the podcast. And I think that's a great point to
That's
mention.
a great way to end it. Thank you for all the inputs that you've given to this podcast about communication. I know it's a Sunday morning at the cafe. Everybody made the time to come and meet me and talk to me about the communication project. And do you have any short advice, very quick advice for the people looking at home right now who's looking into communication?
One by one. Do you have it? I have
Yeah,
it.
be fearless for real. Like it's just you can, everything is in your hands and you can do it.
My motto in general, it's if you're scared, then it's time to jump.
I would say challenge yourself, choose creativity ahead instead of practicality, and that's how you're gonna grow.
Well, thank you so much for the inspirational message. I hope the people at home are inspired by your input in the communication program today. Thank you for tuning in, everyone, for this episode of Campus Café. If you want to learn more about communication, you can search it up at hanuniversity.com/communication for more information.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.